Strap on your tampon. It's that time of the month on the Nothing Important podcast.
I threw a wish in a well. Don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I traded all for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where do you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, baby. But here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys trying to chase me. But here's my number, so call me maybe. You took your time with the call, I took no time with the fall. You gave me nothing at all, but still you're in my way. I beg and borrow and steal at first sight, and it's real. I didn't know I would feel it, but it's in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where do you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. Here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, baby. Here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys try to chase me. But here's my number, so call me maybe. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. And you should know that I missed you so bad. It's hard to look right at you, baby. Here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys try to chase me. But here's my number, so call me maybe. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. And you should know that, so call me maybe.
You're listening to Nothing Important.
You know what? Your wife would probably turn around and say, "Go fuck yourselves." You know, but there's not enough of these gender warriors. Sorry for the language if I'm not allowed to swear on the podcast.
No, you are.
You can say whatever you want, my friend.
Good, wonderful, cunt, shit, bollocks, fuck, wonderful. I never get to swear on the air.
Fucking do it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm such a child. I'm like a 7-year-old child. But you know, this constant need.
Please enjoy the show. That's great. That works.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nothing Important podcast. Insert witty tagline here. My name is Brian, and with me, as always, is I have nothing clever to say. Dave, how's it going this evening?
Good.
Good.
I'm fine.
Usually I try to make up some completely asinine thing there.
I know, you threw me off, man, because I like to react to it. That's part of the thing.
Well, part of the thing is, too, is I never try to think about it. I literally try to come up with it on the fly, but I just couldn't do it tonight. But I would like to mention that I am drinking Not Your Father's Root Beer by Small Town Brewery. They are not a sponsor by any means, but I am a big root beer fan.
Yes.
And somebody finally put the beer in root beer.
Have you? Are you new to Not Your Father's Root Beer, my friend?
I am. I was given one finally about maybe 2 weeks ago, and my buddy upstairs that lives above me is like, dude, you want to watch out for that. It's really good. It's kind of dangerous. And I had one, and I love root beer.
Yes.
Like I don't really drink Coke. I don't like Coke unless it's like McDonald's Coke. You get a large Coke from McDonald's, it tastes a lot different than it does out of a. And there's actual reasons for that, but we don't have to discuss it.
They have a
now.
mixture recipe. It's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, I love Dr. Pepper and I love root beer. And so I was excited. I'm like, wow, somebody kind of put the beer in root beer, and it was given to me. And I was kind of excited about tonight's chat. And I figured, you know what? I'm going to give these people some free publicity. And who knows? Maybe they'll send me a free beer or two down the road.
That's a good idea. I'm not so new to that. I had it at the Lockdown, which I believe is kind of in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I've always been told, I haven't verified, that it's like 5% in a bottle and like 8 to 10% somewhere in there out of the tap. It's a lot stronger out of the tap. I had it out of the tap. I was pretty damn buzzed after one. Yeah.
Well, either way, it's pretty damn delicious. We're waiting for our special guest, Milo Yiannopoulos, to give us a call on the Someone Important hotline. But it's funny that you brought up Lockdown. Lockdown is a bar in Chicago. It's very heavy metal themed. They have the best burgers. It's absolutely awesome.
I had the cruelty to animals burger.
Yeah, it's like 10 pieces of meat on this burger. It's ridiculous, right?
It's a farm.
Lockdown Burger in Chicago, Illinois. It's in my neighborhood. If you get a chance, go. You walk in, and they have TVs everywhere that are playing live heavy metal concerts.
Yes.
As you eat your food, and I love their motto because their motto is just simply "Don't be shitty." So
I didn't know that, because that's my thing. I can't believe I never said it on the podcast. My motto is rule number 1. Rule number 1 is don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
That's it.
So
it's a variation of the golden rule, but yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah. But I'm glad you brought up Lockdown for another reason, because today, or actually yesterday, Pokemon Go has been released in the United States. Are you familiar with Pokemon Go, Dave?
No, I was going to laugh because I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No. But anyway, Pokemon Go.
Although they do call me the Jigglypuff, and my Jigglypuff T-shirt came in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Nice,
but yes,
nice.
Other than that, no, I'm not familiar with Pokemon.
Well, Pokemon Go is a phone app. It's an augmented reality game. So, like, you take the place of the Pokemon trainer, and it uses Google Maps. So, in the real world, your character only moves as you walk up and down the streets, and occasionally your phone will vibrate, and then your camera will your camera will turn on, and through the camera, it looks like there's like a Pokemon like sitting at your house or on the steps or something, and you capture it. Right? It's kind of like geocaching, but for Nintendo nerds.
Okay.
And this has been like a huge app. Like it's a really big deal. It's already like #1 on the iTunes charts, and it's already #1 for revenue on the iTunes and Android charts, and it's only been out worldwide for maybe 24 hours. Me and my daughter have been playing it a ton. It's a lot of fun. It's actually the first time I've ever played a Pokemon game, even though I'm a huge Nintendo nerd. But it gives me a chance, me and the kids, we get out, walk around the neighborhood, and we've been catching Pokemon for the past day or so. So in the game, there's also, because it takes the Google Maps information, and in the game, every so often, you'll come across a Pokestop. And when you go to the Pokestop, it's a real world location, and you'll get supplies like Pokeballs or eggs, whatever the hell eggs do. Like I said, I don't know. I've never played a Pokemon game. I'm still trying to figure it out. So one of the Pokestops next to my house is Lockdown Bar and Grill. And it's great because in the little cartoon world on the app, it shows a real life picture of the side of Lockdown Bar and Grill. And on the side of Lockdown, they have that big heavy metal mural with upside down crosses, blood, Lemmy from Motorhead. It's amazing. And it just cracks me up because if you go to that Pokestop, that's the picture that appears inside the game when you're playing this cute little Pokemon Go game and you're trying to pick up these cute little monsters.
That's awesome. And there's a big picture of Lemmy Killmeister.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. I posted it on our Twitter at Not Important PC. I posted it yesterday. It is the most metal Pokestop in the United States, I would figure. And just on a side note, there's also the church across the street from me doubles as a Pokemon gym in the game. So whoever is the gym master of the Pokemon gym, I'm right across the street and I'm coming for you. So beware.
Oh, I thought it was like the preacher or something, or like the archdiocese or whatever it is. You know, the head of the church would be the Pokemon gym master, right?
Right? No, but that's what makes it amazing is if you get the Pokemon and you take over the gym, your Pokemon that you leave there, that's why you got to level them up, because the Pokemon that you leave there will try to fend off anybody that comes to your quote-unquote gym to try to unseat you.
That's awesome.
And it's great because I don't even have to walk to the church. I can just sit on my couch and be the gym master of so I will collect Pidgeots all day, which apparently is a really crappy Pokemon. What's also great about that too is the Pokemons that I get mostly are this little rat-looking thing called a Rattata.
Okay.
And I just find that hilarious because it is Chicago. We have a huge rat infestation going on right now.
Oh,
so
I thought you were going to talk about the gun violence.
No.
The Rattata.
That's also very appropriate. So our guest this week is Milo Yiannopoulos. And I got to tell you, Dave, it's a little weird for me because me and you have been very open that we want very little talk about politics on
it's in the name of the show.
Right, exactly. Nothing important. But also, as we've kind of shifted to this where we get to talk to very interesting people and successful people, I feel that he was somebody that if we were able to get on, even though he is very much a controversial and political figure, I felt like he was somebody that we shouldn't pass up if we get the chance to talk to him.
I agree with that.
For the uninitiated, Milo is a very outspoken, gay, British individual who also happens to be very conservative. He does not have a lot of tolerance for feminists, and he just leaves a wake of destruction everywhere he goes. Every time he speaks on a campus, on a speaking tour, which is called the Dangerous Faggot Tour, he just protests, and he even got DePaul University shut down, which is just about 1.5 miles from where I'm sitting now. And, I respect that because I would say you and I are actually politically, we're probably two different ends of the spectrum, which is funny because neither of us kind of vote.
I'm not.
So that's good because
I'm not at an end of a spectrum. I'm a very one-way leaning other way.
Right, exactly.
But I'm very towards the middle because I see.
Okay, yeah.
I see both.
So,
we're both open-minded and we're both devil's advocates, so we can see the other sides of things.
Well, I think what's funny about you and I is like a lot of stuff I feel one way that you feel the exact opposite on.
Yeah, that does.
Most of our views fall into the category of how about everybody just shuts the fuck up and let people do what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, like we are kind of old school gentlemen in the fact that we keep our politics polite when we speak about them, and generally, if we're out in public and not speaking directly to each other, I don't feel that we ever. I've never seen you drawn into a political conversation in a group or a bar or something.
I do amongst close friends. Only amongst close friends.
Exactly, and that's how it should be. But if I'm at a party and when people start talking politics, I'm the worst person for them to turn to because I'll just start like talking nonsense back to them, or I'll just stare at them as they're talking to me and then change the subject. So anyway, so Milo, I was intrigued by him because I heard about him. I kind of just heard his name just reading the news and listening to the news and such. And then I heard him on the Adam Carolla show, and I didn't really his political views, in all honesty, I never really took anything away of like, wow, either I severely disagree with that guy or I severely agree with that guy. I was just more in tune with the fact that, wow, like he says how he feels. And it's refreshing because I feel like a lot of times nowadays, to go back to the political correctness thing, people always try to find a way to word things. Or if you feel one way and you know you're in a room where there's people that might feel the other way, you try to phrase your beliefs in a way that will discourage other people from piping up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think he does that. He just kind of says how he feels, and he's very confident, and there's a bravado about him
that
look, this is the way it is. And at the same time, he doesn't try to shut anybody down. He'll just say, okay, well, this is how I feel about that.
And so a friend of ours put it the best. When Andy found out that we were going to talk to him, he told me, like, the best thing about this guy is that he says what he wants and he's blunt, and you can't come at him with the PC bullshit because he's already a part of a marginalized group of people. So what are you going to say to him, to put him down or to get him out of your argument? Like, you have to come at him with some facts and like an actual argument, which a lot of people can't do in today's society.
Exactly. That's what makes him a quote-unquote dangerous faggot.
Right.
He's a gay man who openly used the term faggot like towards himself.
You take the power out of other people's hands when you do this. I call myself a fat ass all the time because I got teased when I was younger.
Right, and I think that's what he's really trying to do. So
he's just stirring the pot.
I don't even think he's stirring the pot. I think he's just saying. In a weird way, I think he's not stirring the pot.
I think he's stirring the pot.
Well, but stirring the pot is usually a rabble rouser who just does it to be contrarian and piss people off. I don't think he's doing it like that. I think he's just how he feels, and he's not going to be intimidated.
I think he understands that doing that stirs the fucking pot because people are the way, rabble rousers don't work. I mean, Donald Trump stirs a rabble rousers, which Milo's also a Trump supporter. But, I mean, he does that by, like, he's just trying to offend certain people. He's trying to offend the vocal minority to get them stirred up because the vocal minority is a bunch of retards.
Exactly. So, with that said, I'm super excited to have Milo on the show. I think he's going to be a great guest, and I'm excited to talk to him. I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation. So, here is our chat with Milo Yiannopoulos. Dave, are you there?
I am here.
All right, Dave, we have Milo Yiannopoulos on the Somewhat Important Hotline. Milo, how are you doing this evening?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Hello, Milo. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, thank you for. We're absolutely excited that you called in. It's I'm not sure where you're at in the country, so I know that it's probably a little bit later than where we are now. So again, we totally appreciate you chatting with us this evening.
Of course, it's no problem. I'm in Los Angeles, but I don't really sleep, as most people who follow my Twitter realize. I have like 3 or 4 hours a day is enough. So I'm all good. I'm very happy to talk to you.
Awesome. Well, we totally appreciate it, Milo. Well, I just want to start with when I first reached out to you, one of the things that really impressed me about you is your unapologetic approach towards current events and how you feel about that. And Dave and I, although I get a feeling Dave probably differs from your politics a little bit more than I do, that is something that we highly respect. And personally, my friend, I find it really refreshing that you're honest and sincere and you say how you feel.
Well, thank you. I mean, Dave is allowed to be wrong. That's fine. The extent to which he doesn't agree with me just means he hasn't read enough yet or hasn't been listening carefully. That's perfectly fine.
Well, it's not 100%. Honestly, there's a lot I do agree, a lot I don't. I'm a very moderate person, so yeah, I'm open to all opinions, and I love listening. I just love listening to everything that I can. And that's why I'm looking forward to this.
We live in uncertain and insane times. We live in crazy times. This is not the period in history for moderation. It's a time for dangerous faggots and for Donald Trump and for, Brexit and all sorts of other earth-shattering things going on. This is not the time for moderation. It's the time to get excited.
See,
but
and that's
every yin needs a yang. So I'm playing the yang. I'm playing the other card.
So
I'll try not to tease you too much.
When I first heard about Milo Yiannopoulos, I believe you were actually, well, I've heard about you off and on, and then I heard your interview with Adam Carolla on the Adam Carolla show. And as I looked it up, and your speaking tour is called the Dangerous Faggot Tour, and that made me fall in love just because it's so in your face that, a lot of people wouldn't do that nowadays, and I just find that completely refreshing.
But it's insane. Like, I don't understand why people... Words only have the meaning you give them. No kind of string of letters has like innate magical powers unless you award it magical powers.
Right.
And so me using every outrageous word I can think of on my tour and calling people hideous, fat, monstrous, lesbianic dykes and whatever it is. Me just doing that is my way of showing that if you give words power, they have power over you. And what the left has done, the political left, with political correctness and the language policing, mob mentality, and public shaming, is to give words so much more meaning and power than they ought to have. I want a world where everyone can be outrageous to each other. I want a world where we can insult each other and bitch about each other and be rude and obnoxious and catty and vicious and sometimes loving and affectionate and romantic. But I want a world where the bad stuff is okay. I mean, we live in this culture now where niceness seems to be the most important thing. Like, don't offend anyone, don't hurt anyone's feelings. Fuck that. I want to hurt everyone's feelings. I want everyone to be offended. It's only when you're offended that you actually that you start to think about things, that you start to consider alternative points of view. We live in such a stiflingly politically correct culture now that it's only by being outrageous and by being ballsy that you can get through to people. If you step a little bit outside the consensus, if you just go a little bit too far, people will slate you and you'll get bullied back into conformity. But if you go out balls out and you're like, you know what, I'm a dangerous faggot, and all this kind, people have to listen and they have to take you seriously because they're so shocked and so taken aback by the temerity and the boldness of it. So that's why I do it. I mean, it is kind of trolling, but it is trolling for a purpose,
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. And it hit really close to home. You were in DePaul University in Chicago, which is literally right down the road for me. And just to see that there was people that paid to see you on your speaking tour, and then there was people there to strictly disrupt, and then the university was complicit in shutting you down. And that bothers me because isn't that what going to college is about? Is about learning different viewpoints?
Well, it certainly used to be, and I don't think it is anymore. I think American higher education institutions have become they ask for safe spaces. What they mean is this sort of cosseted environment, this home from home where you go and pay a lot of money to sit around and pretend that you like people you don't like and use language that doesn't mean anything and be fed conspiracy theories about the patriarchy and the wage gap and campus rape culture. All this stuff that just isn't true. American universities are completely derelict in their duties now, I think it's fair to say. And I've probably been on more campuses in America than pretty much anybody else this year, and the tour's not even finished yet. American universities have completely given up their responsibility to expose people to new ideas, to new ways of thinking, to new styles, to new attitudes, to new information. It's so depressing to me that this is the case. But, look, if a couple of people per talk go home and think, I believe that stuff about the wage gap and about campus rape culture and about, the entrenched racism in America, all this kind of stuff. If somebody goes home and thinks about it, maybe there's five people out of the audience of 400 or 500, 5 people go home, then I'm happy. Of course, it's not just the 400 or 500, it's also the 1,000 people who can't get in and the 11,000 watching live and the 75,000 who watch it later on YouTube, not to brag, but, if some of those people are interested after the fact, then wonderful, because what I want to do is blow apart this stifling consensus that seems to have taken hold in American higher education. America is supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave. I mean, I came here from occupied Europe, from Londonistan, hoping to, to come here to escape the sort of suffocating progressive social justice left and to experience, thought and language, speech, idea in their rawest, purest, most free form. And what do I discover in America? The horror of the American public and private universities, which just seem to me set up entirely antithetically to the pursuit of knowledge and to the exposure of new ideas. These are not environments in which you are going to learn new things or have your preconceptions challenged. And that to me is horrifying.
Right. And you know what I love about you too is, you use the word fag and
some more things you love about me.
Well, my beautiful friend as
feed the beast, Brian. Feed the beast.
No. Look, the thing I get from you is, like I said, I love your unapologetic approach, right? But it doesn't seem like you try to stifle anybody if they try to retort, it seems that you openly invite that loud discourse so people can say what they want to say.
Of course, I want them to respond to me because I want to be proven wrong if I'm wrong. I'm just not wrong. I want them to, I'm just saying, I want them to come. I want to know. I want an open marketplace of ideas where I come up against the strongest possible adversary. And because if I still win, if I still beat them, then I really know I'm right. And the left doesn't want that. They don't even want to hear alternative points of view. And so, and people often describe me as sort of like unashamed or unapologetic, like there ought to be something shameful about a gay person that speaks their mind, or like I say something that deserves an apology. I know that wasn't the implication of what you were saying, but I often see these words pop up in coverage about me, and I just think, you know what? Like, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem itself. That it just encapsulates the idea that somebody would just speak their mind, not afraid of being publicly shamed for using the wrong word. The idea that it is now brave merely to express your opinion on a subject, whatever that opinion is, that in itself is proof that I'm onto something. I think that in itself indicates there might be something wrong with debate in the public square in America. There might be something that has gone a little bit awry in the university system. That I think is so telling. And I didn't mean to pick on you because everybody does this. It's almost reflexive. You just describe somebody as controversial, notorious, unapologetic, and it's like, I'm just sitting there thinking, I just talk common sense. I look at studies, I read what the data says, I crack a few jokes, and this is outrageous. This is something in American culture that is unprecedented, that people cannot cope with, that people need safe spaces and trigger warnings from. That's ridiculous.
No, I totally agree. I've used this example on our show a few times. I worked at a place not too long ago where I had a subordinate. She was a couple rungs down the ladder from me, who would openly talk about feminism and such. And one time she asked me about my wife. My wife is this awesome, beautiful, driven woman, but I don't think she considers herself a feminist by any means. And they asked me what attracted me to my wife. And I said, well, she's driven. She has an idea of what she wants to do with life. And she can cook. I would never date a woman that couldn't cook. So
that one got you into trouble.
Oh my God. And then all hell broke loose, and I said, I'm like, look, I'm not saying that her only station in life is to be in the goddamn kitchen and cook me food, but look, like I'm a big dude, I'm a big manly man, and I want a woman who can cook. And for some reason, this went to human resources, and I actually
because you said you loved your wife because she could cook.
Right, and that was like I actually example too. It wasn't even the top example.
This is, sorry to interrupt you, but this is so typical. What the left does, they turn compliments into insults. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, she's beautiful, she can cook, and all of these things. There's this constant need to find offense in everything, and this constant need to take umbrage at every remark and to paint women as constant, perpetual victims. You know what? Your wife will probably turn around and say, go fuck yourselves. But there's not enough of these gender warriors. Sorry for the language if I'm not allowed to swear on the podcast.
No, you are.
Oh, you can say whatever you want, my friend.
Good. Wonderful. Cunt, shit, bollocks, fuck. Wonderful. I never get to swear on the air.
Fucking do it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm such a child. I'm like a 7-year-old child. But this constant need to always be offended by everything, and always on someone else's behalf. It's so ridiculous. Isn't it ridiculous?
Standing up for other people
totally
is such a thing now. It's looking for excuses to be butthurt about something someone else said about somebody else. Like, you're taking it personally, it doesn't even involve you. And then we talk a lot about that, the vocal minority and taking umbrage with things that just let it go. Like, who cares if you're offended?
Exactly.
No, and it's this offense on other people's behalf, which is a sign that that they've sort of run out of things to complain about, that they're not really sure what they should be arguing about next. So they're kind of looking around, trying to take up other people's causes, perhaps because they realize that they are, in their words, privileged, that they are, white, middle-class women in America, probably the most privileged group of human beings ever to exist in the history of human civilization. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's not plausible to get upset on my own behalf, because look at me, but I can get upset on other people's behalf because that gives me the cloak, gives me a veneer of selflessness. That gives other people the impression that I am the white knight, I'm the savior, I'm some kind of hero. Well, you're not. Fuck you. All you're really doing is exhibiting to the world that you are a miserable, dour, boring, stupid person, and that you want everyone else to be as unhappy as you are. No, we refuse. We decline to be dragged down to your level. We will not be as miserable as you are. And if we want to say fag, and we want to say we love our wives because, well, not in my case, obviously, but if somebody wants to say, that he loves his wife because she's hot and she makes a mean fucking stew, then you're going to have to sit back and like it because there's nothing wrong with that.
Let me ask you about the word fag, because I think you're like the best person to ask about this. All right,
I'm probably the world expert on the word faggot.
All right, so like me, I'm a straight dude. Most of my friends are pretty straight, manly type guys, and if they do something stupid, it's not uncommon at all to be like, man, dude, don't act like a fag. Like, don't be a fag. Like, just do it. But right. So, I mean, but what is your personal view on that? Because
I think that's the actual real. That's the real use of fag. That's the one that I want to bring back. There are some instances in which gay. There's just no alternative to it. Like, dude, that is gay. And I hear my friends say all the time. I hear my friends say all the time, and they're right. And there's really no better word sometimes. And you just want to say he's being a fag, or dude, that is gay. It's funny, and it conveys all of the things that you want to convey in that statement. It's lame, weak, crap, Hillary supporting, immigrant loving, whatever. These are the real meanings of gay. These are the real meanings of faggy. The fact that a couple of dick-sucking chutney punchers get upset because you say faggot. Well, fuck them too.
Have you seen?
I love that.
Have you seen the South Park episode from many years ago, the F word, where they describe Harley Davidson riders that are really like loud, obnoxious as faggots, and like then the gay community gets offended by it, and they're like trying to explain, like, no, we're not talking about we're not talking about gay people, we're talking about fags, and like,
right, yeah.
I love that. It's like, I'll suck a dick, but that dude's a faggot.
Exactly.
No, I mean, this is a perfectly reasonable, respectable way. They're always these minority people. They're always telling us, the left is always telling us, reclaim the vocabulary. Take queer and make it your own. Well, I'm taking faggot and I'm making it my own, and I'm giving the entire human species a lifetime retroactive fag pass. You can say it as much as you want about whatever you want. If anyone's listening here, go forth and fag.
So the next time some hippie gets on my ass because I called my buddy a fag for doing something silly, I'm gonna be like, well, look, motherfuckers, like, I have Milo Yiannopoulos' number. I will call him right now, and he will tell you that I can use the word.
Do it. You have my cell number. You can call me anytime, and I will tell him just how much of a fag he really is.
That's awesome. I do have to ask you a super important question that we ask everybody on our podcast. So I hate to get too deep and too political, but Milo, what is your favorite frozen pizza?
Oh, well, I'm not allowed to eat pizza anymore because I'm on a very strict diet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to have to speak quietly so my trainer doesn't hear anything. I am a heretic, which will not come as a surprise to anybody who has listened to this conversation or who has read anything of mine or seen me on TV or whatever. But I am especially a maverick, a heretic, an apostate when it comes to pizza. And the internet's not going to like this, but my favorite pizza is Hawaiian. I love pineapple on pizza. I don't care who knows about it. I'm completely unapologetic about that. Ham and pineapple pizza all the fucking way.
Awesome. That's me and Dave. We're not as beautiful as you are. So like, we eat a lot of pizza. So that's an important question for us.
Stop. In fact, if you don't, well, actually, maybe carry on for another 45 minutes. But after that, stop.
Milo, it's been absolutely awesome talking to you. I was going to say, next time you're in Chicago, I hope you hit us up. I'd love to chat with you again.
We'll go out. But I'll be off my diet by then, and we will go out for a deep pan. How's that?
Oh, dude, bring it on. I will take you around. We can call everybody fags. It'll be great. It'll be the greatest thing ever.
We'll go out. We'll eat deep pan Hawaiian, and we'll call everyone fag. I cannot imagine a better evening.
That sounds like my perfect man date. If I was going to go on a date with a man, that is exactly what I'd like to do.
Well, I would like to give you that gift, so we will do it.
Awesome. Milo, you have a podcast? Yep, Dave, obviously.
Yeah, you can come to Pumpkin, don't worry.
Milo, you have your own podcast, the Milo Yiannopoulos Show. You can find that on iTunes. Your website is yiannopoulos.net. And please, if you're even somewhat curious about Milo and how he feels about things and what he has to put up with, please check out the Dangerous Faggot Tour. I'm, again, super excited you came on, and I had an absolutely awesome time, and I hope we could talk again, my friend.
Second that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Milo. You have a wonderful night, all right?
Cheers. Take care, guys. Bye.
Cheers. Milo Yiannopoulos, Dave.
And he knew about the fake ending.
Yeah, totally.
that was
a consummate professional.
That was absolutely how I hoped the conversation would go. We kept it just like the show is. And yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did kind of want to say something, though. I didn't want to say, when he said, I don't want to tease you too much, I wanted to throw in the whole, dude, we have, probably the thickest skin of a lot of people you're going to talk to. This shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Tease the fuck out of me. I don't care.
Well, I'm glad. Milo seems like a very nice guy, super cool, and I'm glad that he came on the show. Make sure that you check out our Better Call Saul podcast called It's Saul Goodman. You can find that at www.itssaulgoodman.com. Coming up next week, we have an interview with Ann Cherkis, who's a writer for Better Call Saul. Now, listen, okay, nothing important, people. I fucking know we have a bunch of Better Call Saul people on there, but Better Call Saul is kind of where our bread is buttered a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Dave?
a little bit.
But it's a kick-ass show, and those people are so fucking nice. And I'm working on the big 3 for Better Call Saul. So, but if we can get the big 3 on, I'm going to try to split it into 2 different shows. So we're working on the big 3.
Maybe a Twitter campaign.
Michael McKean, Jonathan Banks,
we
and
should
Bob
do a letter writing campaign or a Twitter campaign.
There you go.
Our fans in on it. If they want to hear it, I guess I'll talk to them now. If you guys want to hear it, show some love. Start, berate these guys that are getting on our show.
Exactly. I want Twitter tags to Bob Odenkirk and Michael McKean. I don't think Jonathan Banks has a Twitter, but make sure you hit them up. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Give us those reviews on iTunes. Give us those likes on Twitter. By the way, Violet Bean from last week from the Flash TV show, the listeners out there who tweeted that tweet went crazy. There were so many people that tweeted that. Absolutely awesome. So new listeners, welcome. Old listeners, keep it up. We'll talk to you next week with Ann Cherkis, from a writer from Better Call Saul. Should be very interesting, especially for those of you interested in not only Better Call Saul, but just the process of how to make a show, how to write a show, all that good stuff. Dave, you're looking beautiful as ever, and you can stop recording now.
Be sure to follow Nothing Important online at nothingimportantpodcast.com. Find us on iTunes, on Twitter at NotImportantPC, and you can also find us on Facebook. Nothing Important is recorded with help from Third City Sound in Joliet, Illinois. Thanks for being awesome.